I'm Matt Grant from Sailright, and today we're going to guide you through a very simple project, which is replacing your halyards on your boat. In this case, we're going to replace the mainsail halyard on a Seaward 24, and our existing halyard is a 5/16 inch. We want to try and match the existing halyard whenever possible in order to make sure that it will pass the sheaves at the top of the mast. We have decided, though, instead of going with a line that is prone to stretch, to go with a more stretch resistant type, and we've selected Stayset X, which is a New England line as a result. You could also use a T900 if you wanted a really high-tech, low-stretch line, but obviously this isn't a racing boat, nor is it even a club racing boat, so Stayset X is probably overkill to begin with. A standard Stayset would work as well. Let's talk about how to measure for the length of the halyard. To determine the length of line that you need, simply attach a metal tape rule with a loop end to your halyard, and then simply raise your halyard all the way to the masthead. Now take your tape measure, and I'm not going to do that since it's so simple you should be able to follow along. Now take your tape measure and get your measurement all the way down to the mast step. And then at this point, what I suggest that you do is pull the halyard back down, and pull it down and coil up your tape as you go so you can get rid of the measuring tape. Now bring that halyard all the way down to the step, and you know, based upon the measurement that you took, that you've got 2 times that measurement at the mast. One inside the mast and the one external to the mast. So whatever the mast height is, based upon your tape measurement, double it. Now all we need to do, and the reason we do that is it makes it easier because we won't have as much line coming out of the mast to measure at this point. So what we would do next is we would measure the segments of line between turning points. And if you come up on the deck here, I'll show you what I mean. So here is our main halyard as it comes out of the mast step. We want to take this segment measurement to the turning block, record it, and then we want to take a measurement from here all the way back. And you shouldn't have an enormous amount of line to measure here, and measure to the end of your line. And that's all there is to it. Whatever that, add up all those measurements, whatever you come up with is what you need to purchase in the way of replacement line. Now we're going to install it. All right, what we want to do at this point is untie the bowline at the main halyard. And we want to keep that end handy somewhere. Just going to tuck it there. And now we're going to tie, so that we don't lose it. We'll do it to this end. That shackle to our new halyard. And again, we're going to use a bowline to secure that. And we want to secure it in a loop that is as tight as possible, because we want to be able to raise our sail to its full extent. That looks good. Okay, now that's the end we're not going to feed up the mast. Now we need to find the opposite end, and what we're going to do here is we are going to attach that end to the old halyard, and then we're going to fish it up and through the mast. All right, the worst thing that can happen to you is for your 2 lines to separate when you haven't gotten it all the way through the mast, because then you've got to take the mast down and snake a line through, and that's not fun. What we're going to do here is we're going to use a sailmaker's palm, which I recommend that all boat owners have on board because they're very handy, and you should always have some wax twine and some hand needles in your parts kit as well, your repair kit, just so that you can do this sort of thing. And we're going to put that through, pull those, leave about a 2-inch tail there, and hold that over to the opposite side, and then we're going to go through the old halyard, and we're basically going to butt joint these. And I'm not worried about creating a too strong of a connection, because we're going to come back. I'm going to go at 90 degrees now to my original stitch there, because we're going to just hot knife recut these ends of the line when we're done anyway. There's no real hard and fast rules about how to do this. We just want to make sure that it's plenty strong when we're done. And I'm even going to come in here right through the side that I was in, and I'm going to whip around it a few times. When we get to a point where we're satisfied with the amount of strength that we've created, we will just pass the needle through previous stitches, and that's probably enough. And then I will trim these loose ends, and we're certainly strong enough to fish that through. All that's left now is to pull our new halyard up. When you get to the sheaves, make sure that you go slowly. You want to make sure everything feeds nicely. And if you get any hackles like this that are going up, you want to straighten those out, obviously, before they get out of your reach. If you feel any resistance at any point, it's probably a good idea to slow down, back it a little bit, and then pull through. We are definitely getting some resistance here. Yeah, I see it right there. There we go. Just pull it through, and just make sure you don't put so much pressure on it that you break your connection. That's why the connection really should be strong. If you tried to do this with tape, you would lose it every time, so you've got to whip it. And now we have our halyard through the mast, which is the critical part, and now we can run it back. With our halyard run through, we now want to use a hot knife. This is the Engel hot knife, or the HSGO hot knife, and they do a fantastic job. It's lit, heats up quickly, and we just want to start cutting through. When we get cut through, notice I cut all that whipping off. Then just trim up that end a little bit. Make sure the fibers don't unlay. And we now, of course, want to run this through our cleat. And tie your standard figure 8. And you can see how that I'm doing that if you've not tied a figure 8 before. And that's the end of the line. Now I also noticed where we tied our bowline at the main halyard shackle that we need to trim that line close to the knot. So I'll do that with the hot knife as well. That's all there is to replacing a halyard. And that doesn't matter whether it's a headstay halyard, mainsail, mizzen halyard, whatever. It should be very straightforward. Only exception would be obviously if you were doing a wired rope halyard, which we're not going to cover here. If you have any questions, give Sailrite a call anytime. Thanks for watching.